For most aspiring retirees, retirement success is viewed through the lens of savings and investment returns, or some combination of the two. And the logic is sound. It makes sense that the thing that puts you in the position to even consider retirement in the first place, saving and accumulating a meaningful nest egg, is the thing that would ultimately drive success once you're in retirement. But I can tell you, having worked with successful retirees now for over 20 years, the single biggest metric from a financial planning standpoint that will drive success or failure through your retirement plan horizon is not investment returns, and it's not the amount of money that you saved on your investment statements. It is spendable income. It's ensuring that you have your essential needs covered. You never have to wonder how you're going to pay the bills. And it's about giving yourself the freedom and the opportunity to be able to create the experiences that you always imagined. If you can accomplish those things, now you're in a position to be able to enjoy your money more confidently. You're in a position to be able to rest easier at night without the fear of having to babysit your portfolio through market ups and downs, and ultimately make sure that you can build in safeguards against the biggest threats that retirement ultimately poses. In the course of this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that I've seen even the most affluent retirees, people who have successfully saved and invested and put themselves into a very comfortable position for retirement, the biggest mistakes they make relative to their spending plan and how it's disrupted the success of what they envisioned. I'll also share with you the planning frameworks that we utilize with our private wealth management clients to help secure a more sound foundation that's focused on spendable income, protection, and alignment of your resources. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1. Underestimating your retirement spending needs. The fact is, your retirement spending numbers are really difficult to predict if you have not been through retirement before. When every day is suddenly Saturday, the fact is your lifestyle trends will adjust and change, and exactly how that's going to happen for you is going to be hard to flush out until you're actually experiencing this new life transition. For many people, they enter into retirement believing that their discretionary spending needs are going to be similar to what they carried during their working years. But the fact is, with all that additional free time, often those hours get filled up with other things that create additional unexpected expenses. The other piece of this that's really hard to forecast is the one-time spending. Even once you dial in your monthly essential and discretionary spending needs to help cover basic lifestyle, being able to effectively estimate the one-time spending that's going to occur over the course of a given year becomes really hard to plan for. When you compound these issues, spending more than you expected, having unexpected expenses pop up, not to mention inflation, adjustments around things like property taxes or insurance, all those key categories of spending that you can't really do without, for many people, they find that they often spend 10, 20, even 30% more than they initially anticipated. And I will tell you, from a planning perspective, this is the single biggest way to blow up a plan, spending far more than you initially intended. So we have to make sure that we get really crystal clear about isolating and segmenting your personal spending objectives. Now, the way that we follow this with our clientele is we go through a simple exercise that we call needs, wants, and wishes. We want to first isolate your personal needs. These are the essential spending needs that are necessary to help cover basic needs, necessities, the things that you don't want to do without. This includes things like your basic living expenses, food, healthcare expenses, other protected necessary items in your budget, clothing, travel, gas in your car, making sure that you have your medications covered, all those basic needs that you really can't do without. Then we want to focus on discretionary spending. This is the thing that's going to help add color to your retirement experience and are going to help to align with your personal value system, the things that are really important for you to be able to experience so that you can enjoy your time in retirement. We want to make sure that we isolate not only your essential spending needs, but the amount of your discretionary spending that you want to ensure is permanently protected. Finally, we get to what we call wishes, and this is often the one-time spending objectives. This may be the big European trip that you've been putting off until retirement, or perhaps buying that second vacation home or the RV. Whatever it may be for you, we want to go through a disciplined strategy. Understanding how to build your retirement spending plan is not about scarcity or limitation. It's about getting clear about making sure that we account for the things that are most important to you and that we put a dollar figure to each of those items so that we can plan appropriately. Spending mistake number 2. Carrying old money habits into this new phase of life. Now, I see this play itself out in one of 2 ways, and they're on kind of different ends of the spectrum. On one hand, you have folks that have been really diligent savers. These are the folks that have lived very frugally. They've scrapped, they've saved, they've invested, they've done without along the way, and they built up a nice, healthy nest egg as a result of that. Again, that's what's put you in the position to be able to consider retirement in the first place. The challenge for this group is that if you have lived without for so long to put you in this position, when the paycheck goes away, getting yourself comfortable with enjoying your money and being able to actually spend from your savings becomes a real psychological hurdle that you have to get over. So for this group, we have to make sure that we understand how to empower you to be able to spend more confidently, not recklessly, but spend confidently up to the capacity that you personally have built based on your personal level of wealth. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have people who are high income earners. This is a uniquely challenged group as well, because while you're working, those high paychecks gave you the opportunity to live, for a lot of people, a relatively lavish lifestyle. But that also meant for many people that lifestyle creep occurred. And if your lifestyle is now more expensive when your paychecks are going away, now you have to have a larger nest egg in order to help support it in retirement. So for a lot of folks here, they have an inability to be able to pull the reins back. And as a result, they create a new risk in retirement, which we call excess withdrawal risk. This is the risk of dipping into your portfolio beyond what we would consider to be safe withdrawal rates and putting you into a position where you dramatically increase the likelihood of running out of money in the process. The key for both of these individuals is to strike the appropriate balance by finding out what your personal spending capacity is based on your personalized level of wealth, the outside resources that you have outside your portfolio. This includes things like Social Security, human capital, potential role that work plays in retirement on a part-time basis or a consultative basis, whatever that may look like for you, as well as any other outside sources of income that you may be able to rely on. How we coordinate those sources is what ultimately becomes really critical at this stage in plan. Spending mistake number 3, assuming that retirement spending is going to be linear. The fact is, retirement, just like any other phase of your life, is anything but linear. Your spending, your health, your priorities, all will continue to shift and evolve as you age. What we often see here is that people fall into one of two camps. Camp number 1, delay those meaningful experiences because you want to wait until you feel certain. We all know that that day is likely to never come. Camp number 2 is throw caution to the wind, spend recklessly, and potentially put you into a position where you're borrowing from the future, exposing yourself to unnecessary risk as you age. What we want to do is make sure that we find the appropriate balance. But the key message here is that a dollar spent earlier on in your retirement is largely tied to a higher delivery of life value than those that are spent later in retirement. So what we want to do is make sure that we front load the spending towards enjoyment and discretionary spending as long as it's aligned with the things that are most important to you. The more experiences, the more memories that we're able to help you create early on in retirement, the less regret you're going to have later on once it's too late to make those memories. See, the mistake is not spending money, it's spending without intention. We want to make sure that we're clearly aligned with the things that are most important to you, how you're going to personally define success for yourself, and then making sure that you're aligning your resources to help you facilitate those outcomes with as much reliability as possible. Once you understand how spending naturally evolves over the course of retirement, you can stop treating money like something that you have to permanently preserve and instead start utilizing it for what it is, a tool to help you experience the life that you want. At the end of the day, all 3 of these mistakes ultimately stem from the same misunderstanding. People believe that retirement starts with money. It doesn't. It starts with defining how you want to live and how you're going to define success for yourself, and then understanding how your money is going to help facilitate that outcome with as much reliability as possible. And that is tied to after-tax spendable income. When spending is not clearly defined, fear tends to fill the gap. You second-guess decisions, you delay experiences, or you spend without the confidence that it's sustainable, putting yourself into unnecessary danger as you age. But when you have a clear, intentional spending plan, one that is tied to your personal preferences and the way that you want your money to behave, everything else changes. Money stops feeling fragile, and it starts feeling useful. If you want to help building that clarity, and transitioning your portfolio into a plan that's designed to help deliver the life that you want, the first step is building a comprehensive, personalized spending plan. If you'd like to see how we do that for our clients, you can click the link below to schedule a complimentary consultation below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.